twice the speed, twice the awesomeness.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Lucimus Prime here, so it's time for another movie review today, and this one is going to be for a sequel to a film which is a video game adaptation of a character created by Sega. And this character, of course, is probably my favourite character created by that company, and that, of course, is Sonic. And this sequel, of course, which I'm going to be reviewing, is, of course, none other than 2022's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, now, how was this film made then? So, following, of course, the success of the first movie, Sonic the Hedgehog from 2020, the sequel to that film was announced in May 2020, with the cast, of course, returning to reprise their roles. Filming took place from March to June 2021 in Vancouver and Hawaii, and thankfully without any delays related to COVID, which was a big relief. And the film draws inspiration from the games Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3, and also the game Sonic and Knuckles. And when filming was, of course, completed, of course, the trailers, of course, were dropping towards the end of that year. And when seeing the trailers, I was 100% sold on this sequel because it looked really awesome. And I really couldn't wait to see this film. I was very excited. I already loved the first film, so I was very excited to see a sequel. The film was then theatrically released in several markets on March 30, 2022. And then in the United States on April 8th by Paramount Pictures and Sega Sammy Group. Just like its predecessor, it set several box office records for video game film and received generally positive reviews from critics who praised performances and action sequences, but criticised the screenplay and runtime. It grossed $405 million worldwide, becoming the highest grossing video game film in the United States, until it was surpassed the following year by a Super Mario Bros. Movie. When it comes to my reaction to this film then, so when this film came out, I unfortunately was not able to see it at the cinema because I was really busy with work commitments, which is a big shame, because I really wanted to see a sequel, of course, because I love the first movie. But eventually I was able to watch it via video on demand when it came, of course, available to rent, and I finally got around to watching it, and wow, I absolutely adore this sequel. I think it's much better than the first movie. The first movie is already great in my opinion, but this one, wow. In my opinion, it's much better in comparison. And it's probably, for me, my favourite video game adaptation of all time as well. I just really love this sequel. So far, it's my favourite video game adaptation of all time. I just loved it so much. Just absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. So what is the movie about then? So of course, this of course takes place after the first movie. So following, of course, Robotnik / Dr. Eggman's defeat, he returns to Earth from, of course, the Mushroom Kingdom, where he was left out on the first movie, stranded, for revenge, with, of course, the Red Echidna warrior, Knuckles, in tow. With Tom and Maddie Wachowski on vacation in Hawaii, Sonic teams up with a yellow two-tailed fox called Tails on a worldwide adventure to search for a Master Emerald, which gives its user ultimate power. So, now, here is why I'd say this film is in my opinion, fantastic and my favourite video game adaptation of all time. So, just like the first movie, I think it has a really great cast of actors. So, when it comes, of course, to Sonic himself, I definitely absolutely love Sonic in this film once again. Just like in the first one, he continues to be a very likeable, fun character to watch in this, and he's definitely, in my opinion, lots of fun to see in this. He had lots of funny moments and also serious moments too as well, which is just what a character has. And Ben Schwartz continues to do an amazing job voicing Sonic in this film. Just absolutely brilliant as him. My favourite role of his. I think he was absolutely brilliant as Sonic. And in addition to that, I also once again love the return of the legendary Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. I love how in this film, of course, he looks more and more like his game counterpart. I definitely really love that about it. Where he now, of course, has his red suit, alongside, of course, his baldness and also his goggles, and, of course, his moustache. So, I love how this sequel, of course, had him be full-on Eggman in this sequel. I definitely really love that. And I also, as well, absolutely love the addition as well of Tails and Knuckles. I was so happy those characters were included in this. Tails, I already knew was going to be a sequel thanks to a mid-credit scene of the first movie. And I think Tails in this film was great. And Sonic and Tails had great chemistry together in this sequel, in my opinion. Tails was an amazing sidekick to Sonic, like how he, of course, is in other Sonic media. And I also love how Colleen O'Shaughnessy reprised her role as Tails from various Sonic media before. And I was happy about it because she's, in my opinion, the best Tails voice. And in this sequel, she did a really great job voicing Tails. And and continues to be, in my opinion, the best Tails we've ever had, absolutely. And when it comes to Knuckles in this film, he is voiced by Idris Elba, and wow, I think Idris Elba pulled it off fantastically as Knuckles in this film. Definitely, in my opinion, one of this film's main highlights, absolutely. Because when we first announced he was voicing Knuckles, I was definitely, in my opinion, happy because Idris is, in my opinion, a great actor. And in this film, he did a really brilliant job playing Knuckles. He made him badass and serious, which is just what a character's supposed to be. And even though he's, of course, a badass most of the time in this sequel, he does also have his fair share of funny moments as well, of course, in this sequel too. And because when it comes to Knuckles, guys, I prefer him, of course, being a serious character like he is, for example, in Sonic X for sure. Because Dan Green's my favourite Knuckles, and it is also my second favourite Knuckles. And I think in this film, Idris Elba did a great job balancing both his comedic and serious side really well, in my opinion, as Knuckles. I think he did a brilliant job with that, played him so well in this sequel, and was definitely brilliant. And as well as that, of course, when it comes to a cast, I also love the return as well of James Marsden as Tom Wachowski as well. Definitely, my opinion, a great father figure to Sonic, of course, in this film. And James Marsden did a great job playing Tom once again like he did in the first film. I also love the return of Tika Sumpter as Maddie, Tom's wife. She was also great as her and made her also once again a likeable character as well in this. I definitely love seeing her return in this. And I also as well like the return of Lee Majub as Agent Stone, who is Eggman's sidekick. I thought he was good in this, once again returning as Agent Stone. And he and Jim Carrey were definitely pretty funny together, in my opinion, in this sequel. And I also, as well, when it comes to Maddie's sister Rachel in the sequel, I also thought that she was definitely, in my opinion, more tolerant when she was in the first film. In the first one, I thought she was pretty unlikable and annoying, but in this sequel, I thought she was slightly more tolerable, in my opinion. I will say that about her. And speaking of her as well, this one also introduces her fiancé, which is, of course, Randall, and played by Shamar Moore. And I think Shamar did a good job playing Randall in this film, for what it was worth, I'll say that. And I also as well like the return as well of Adam Pally as Wade, who of course is the deputy sheriff of Green Hills alongside Tom, his friend. I think he was once again good playing Wade, but then once again a likeable character. And so I definitely really like that return. And also Tom Butler returning as well as Commander Walters as well. I thought he was good returning as Walters. And so yeah, so this cast, in my opinion, definitely were probably a big highlight of this movie. Other things about it for me is also the story, because I think it definitely improved a lot from the first film in many ways, really, because it introduces more of the lore of the franchise to the movies, in my opinion. For example, of course, when it comes to Knuckles and Tails, and we get to see about Knuckles' backstory of when he was younger as well. So I definitely love that, how they explored Knuckles' character really well. Because even though this is a Sonic film, they gave other characters a chance to shine, and we got to know more about them in this. And yeah, I think this sequel was definitely written as a love letter to the fans of the games, in my opinion, because it was definitely, in my opinion, really faithful, and I think they did a really brilliant job with that. Speaking of faithfulness, when it comes to Jim Carrey as Eggman as well, what I also really appreciate is not only, of course, did he look like a character from the games, but I love how in many scenes, compared to the first one, he actually tried to sound like the voice actor Mike Pollock, who plays Eggman in the games. Like, I think many of his lines, in my opinion, sounded pretty close to him. Like, sometimes his laugh, in my opinion, sounded close. And also, as well, when he shouts out Hedgehog, I heard a bit of Mike Pollock in it. And also, there's also a really awesome sequence in this film where Eggman uses the power of emeralds to create, of course, his Eggbot armor, like a giant mech suit. And when he's talking in that mech, in my opinion, that's the closest he's sounding to Mike Pollock. Pollock, because of the voice changing, I guess, helping out too, but even so, of course, I still think his voice in that scene was fantastic and very close to Mike Pollock. Jim Carrey was definitely a great casting for that reason, because he said favourite type of characters in the games for that. And I was happy about that because Mike Pollock is, in my opinion, the best Eggman of all time. And when it comes to more faithfulness to the games, this film also has, in my opinion, lots of really hype-filled moments. Like, for example, the battles, in my opinion, are very fun to see. Knuckles' fight with Sonic, in my opinion, are also one of the main highlights of this movie. And the final fight with Eggman's mech is also, in my opinion, absolutely epic. With also a very cool moment as well, where it looks like Eggman has defeated Sonic by stamping on him, but it's revealed that Sonic is able to use the power of emeralds to, of course, transform into Super Sonic. Like, when I saw that, I was so impressed with how they pulled it off. In my opinion, they did it absolutely fantastically. Like, that was, in my opinion, brilliant how they did that. Like, just amazing. Like, yeah, the story for this film was, in my opinion, incredible. As well as that, I also love the film's visual effects. I think the visual effects are definitely, in my opinion, a step up compared to the first one. The first one's effects are still good, in my opinion, too. But I think in this sequel, they, in my opinion, really improved a lot. especially because we're introducing more characters and more stakes this time, like, for example, the egg mech, of course, and the emeralds. Like, I think the emerald scenes were, in my opinion, visually stunning, especially when scenes where Eggman, of course, gets them and he got all that green power around him. That was, in my opinion, really well done. I also, as well, definitely love the musical score. It was composed by Tom Holkenborg, aka Junkie XL. I've said many times that, in my opinion, he's the most underrated composer of all time, and I think this sequel definitely proves how good he is as a composer, because his music in this film was great, in my opinion, to listen to. And speaking of music, there's also great uses of songs in this, like, for example, I also, as well, love the addition of a song called Stars in the Sky, which is by Kid Cudi. Definitely, in my opinion, a great song included in this film, which was great to listen to as well. So I definitely really love the music of this film by Junkie XL and Kid Cudi, absolutely. I also think the film is really well paced, so that's why I personally would not really agree with critics on the runtime, because the film is 2 minutes after 2 hours, but in my opinion, it was really well paced, because, in my opinion, and just like Sonic is a fast character, the film flies by, because it's never boring whatsoever, in my opinion. It's just, in my opinion, really well paced, like how, of course, a Sonic media should be, in my opinion. So that's all about it. Despite being 2 hours, in my opinion, it's fantastically paced. Like, it's paced so well, it doesn't feel that long, in my opinion. Like, it's just paced so brilliantly. I definitely really love that. So yeah, if you watch this film, it'll probably fly by you if you watch it. In my opinion, it's paced so well. It doesn't feel too short or too rushed or too boring at all, really. In my opinion, it's paced so well. That's why I love it so much. And as well as that, I also think he does also a great job setting up more to come as well. Because at the end of this film, we get a really exciting mid-credit scene, because when Eggman, of course, gets defeated, when his mech gets destroyed, he falls with it, and his last words, of course, are, "Later, hater," but we don't see him again, we don't see his body or anything like that, so I had a feeling he would, of course, come back in more films, and that, of course, was when the further confirmed with Sonic 3's trailers, of course, and the announcement Jim Carrey would return surprise as well. And we get a very exciting credit scene where it's revealed, of course, that Stone is undercover as an agent avoiding capture. So that, of course, was the first time that Eggman would return, because you can't have Stone without Eggman, definitely not. And he overhears Commander Walters discussing information about a secret research facility, which is, of course, codenamed Project Shadow. And as my name suggests, this was, of course, the introduction of none other than Shadow the Hedgehog. So when you called it, I was just so hyped. Like, that's just how you set up more to come. Absolutely. Like, just, in my opinion, absolutely incredible. And we get to see Shadow waking up and his eyes glowing. Like, that was just how you set up the next film. That's how you do it. Like, it left me so hyped for more. And when it comes to Sonic 3, I was 100% sold already. Like, even before trailers came out, I was 100% sold on seeing this sequel. Like, I just knew I had to, because this sequel did a phenomenal job setting it up. Absolutely. So, yeah, that was just, in my opinion, brilliant. Like, I really love seeing that credit scene, and I couldn't wait for more to come. So that's, of course, my thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, guys. In my opinion, it's a phenomenal sequel. In my opinion, better than the first movie. Even though I still love the first one, I think this sequel is better. And with a great cast, great faithfulness to the games, a great story, which is well paced, with great visual effects, CGI, and music. Just everything you want in a video game sequel, and it's why it's my favourite video game adaptation of all time so far. I say so far, of course, in case Sonic 3, of course, tops in the future. We'll have to, of course, wait and see when I want to see that. But for now, though, I absolutely, of course, adore Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I always will do. In my opinion, a phenomenal sequel, and if you guys are wondering what my score is out of 10, because I didn't have any problems with a sequel, I'd give it, for me, a full-blown 10 out of 10, because I absolutely adore this sequel so much. So yeah, I really can't wait, of course, for more to come for this franchise, because I think it's setting up this cinematic universe so fantastically, in my opinion, and I really can't wait for more of it. So yeah, I'm in for the rest of it, absolutely. So guys, this is me, of course, reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let in the comments what you guys think of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. If you've seen it, leave in comments below what you think of it. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe, who's coming in the future. And I've got to go fast.